Welcome to Racers Trackside Report from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway opening day, Wednesday. Robin Miller, you are our man on the ground. Your 51st Indianapolis 500. James Hinchcliffe, fastest today. His teammate Marco Andretti, P2. Hinch hitting a 224.5. What comes to mind about what we might say is Andretti's best day of the year? They haven't had a lot of them.
Well, I think you look past the two fast speeds. I look at the top five. The most impressive thing I've seen in a long time out here, the top five non-tow speeds of the day were all Andretti cars. Rossi, Ryan Hunter-Ray, Hinch, Colton Herta, and Jack Harvey, who's obviously an offshoot with Michael Shank's team of the Andretti technical base. They're the top five guys without a tow, and it's all from Andretti's camp. So I think whatever they learned a few years ago here, they've managed to hang on to, because it's pretty impressive right off the bat to see him going this quick. And like Hinch, he's a part-time driver this year, and he's like, that car just felt so good right away. He goes, it's such an advantage to come out of the box here and feel stable and feel comfortable and be fast. And he said you can't put a price on it, because there's a guy that's won the pole here and he's missed the show here, so he knows a lot about it.
The guy who helped Fernando Alonso make his Indy 500 debut in 2017 in that Andretti team, their technical director, Eric Bretzmann, serving as Fernando's race engineer back then. Eric being someone who won many championships, Indy 500 with Scott Dixon. He happens to be working with a certain mayor of Hinchtown, Robin. Talk about that dynamic, because we know Hinch can drive. Man, we also know Eric can engineer. Not a surprise. Their P1 and that team is really showing something fast early here in practice.
What's always good about watching those guys work together, Marshall, you're always on pit wall shooting pictures and talking to people, is when the session's over, all the drivers and Andretti drivers congregate with all their engineers, and you talk. I just think about the Ben Hanleys and the James Davisons of the world, who have nobody to bounce ideas off of. Well, James has a couple, but Ben Hanley's by himself. And here you got this powerhouse, seven guys feeding back information, and you got some of the best engineers in racing on their team. And I just think, Bretzmann's had a lot of success in a lot of different places. And Hinch, I think we all kind of thought, well, maybe Hinch will be a full-time broadcaster here pretty quick. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's doesn't have the fire he used to have. But I think as soon as you go out on a racetrack like the Speedway, where he's had some success, and you're as competitive as he is right off the bat, to me, it bodes well for him for the month of May and maybe for next year, because he's got a good sponsor in Genesis. And I think if he shows well here, who knows what the future holds.
We had probably the least happy Scott Dixon ever for a guy who ran third overall today. And say hi to our cat, Rosie. She's going to do this all month long, by the way. She does this every time we record a podcast. So we get Rosie here along for the ride. How you doing, baby girl? Scott Dixon, P3, not a lot of super happiness and optimism in his voice. What comes to mind there, knowing that he's working with Michael Cannon for the first time? And I wouldn't say total lack of optimism, but it's certainly not feeling bullish. What do you think about Dixie in P3? Not exactly jumping up and down about it, though.
Yeah, but to me, Marshall, he's never too high or too low, and he knows come race day, Michael Cannon, one of the best engineers in the paddock, when the green flag drops. I think they'll be very comfortable, and I think maybe with that team and with Scott's experience and stuff like this, he's so pragmatic about, it's the first day and I'm not sure I was as comfortable in traffic as I wanted to be. I heard him talking a little while ago. Okay, so you got 2 more days to figure it out. But if anybody's going to figure it out, it's going to be those two guys. And it really doesn't matter where Scott Dixon starts, folks. We all know that. It makes no difference. He's still going to be one of the favorites.
A lot of stuff to talk about today, Robin. Obviously, we're happy. Finally, we're on track for the Indy 500. That Fernando Alonso guy I mentioned, he has a brand new team to get accustomed to, right? I know the McLaren name is part of it, but This is a team owned by Sam Schmidt, Rick Peterson, brand new everything for him there. He was first among the Chevys, not exactly hanging around as well in that number 66 entry. What comes to mind about Fernando settling in, also learning this new aero screen, how that makes the handling a little bit different and towing different. He certainly wasn't trying to ease into things.
I'm just always impressed with what a racer the guy is. I mean, I think Dylan Welch interviewed him on NBCSN this morning and basically said, "Nice to see you back here." And you're looking behind Fernando. There's no fans, there's no media, and here's a guy that ran the Dakar Rally, and it's not about money and it's not about fame. It's about winning the Indy 500 and adding this. The guy is such a racer, and that's why I love the fact that he bounced back after the last year not making the show, and he just has a spirit about him that reminds me of old school guys that just, they're here to do one thing, and that's win the race and be competitive. And I think with Craig Hampson over his shoulder helping him, he is going to be, maybe he'll be just as fast and competitive this year as he was in 2017, which is a hell of a story.
Let's talk about Team Penske for a minute, Rob. And I know that one driver stood out to you today. On the speed chart, they're 6th, 10th, 12th, and I forget where Will Power was. He was down quite a ways. 23rd. So while we didn't see outrageous speed from the defending race winners, we did see them studying and lapping together and trading places and passing and swapping and whatnot. They seem to be running a lot and really concentrating hard on race day education. What saw you there that piqued your interest?
What piqued my interest was when Townsend Bell he's got a great eye because obviously he's run very, very well in this race. And he was doing the commentary today for NBC Gold all during practice, and all day he kept saying, "Look at Pagenaud. Look where he's running. Look how close he can get to guys. Look where he caught this guy. Look how he's drafting this." And I think when a guy that's had as much experience as Townsend had, and he knows what it's like to be faster in this place, when that catches his eye, and he talks about it all day, well, for a mechanical moron like me, I just listen and nod my head and go, "Okay, I better keep watching this guy." So Pagenaud looks incredibly confident at any time during the day, and whatever situation he was in, with 2 cars, with 7 cars. There was one time near the end of there were 24 cars all out running together with about 30 minutes to go today, and it looked like the race. And Penske has always understood, okay, happy hour is great. If we win the pole, that's great too. But we got to make these race cars the best we can. And how do we do that? And that's what Ben Bretzmann and that's what Pagenaud worked on, I think, probably all day and probably will again tomorrow.
2 or 3 other quick items to get to, Robin. Let's talk about a kid who went faster than Elio Castroneves, Connor Daly, Simon Pagenaud, many others, Alexander Rossi. Dale Coyne Racing rookie Alex Palou. First time heading into turn 1 here and hanging a left. First time on a super speedway in a Dale Coyne Racing Honda. Not one of the powerhouse teams. Rookie day, first day of running, P8 overall. What do you think about that kid from Spain?
Well, I think his engineer Eric Cotton is not only got a lot of experience around here and a lot of success. But he said after the first test of Coda, he said, "Man, this kid this is going to be so much fun this season because he's so much fun to work with. He's so good, and he has such a grasp of what he's doing out there." So I don't care what your background is. If you've never been on an oval and you don't have any oval experience, and you come to the greatest oval in the world, and you're in the top 10 the first day of practice, I don't care if you got a toe. I don't care if there's 50 guys in line with you or whatever. That's impressive. And I heard somebody was interviewing him. They were talking about the line that he was running and how impressed they were that he just looked so comfortable. Late exit, whatever it was. I can't remember what the details were, but that's the toughest thing. You don't want to pinch the corners here, and that's how you get in trouble. And everybody was like, he looked like a 10-year veteran. So good for him, good for Coyne and Eric Cowden, who didn't have a job till right before the season started, and it's working out very nicely.
Last on-track question for you, Robin. We also had a few surprises today. We got all 5 rookies in, so that's great. Got all their ROPs done. Ben Hanley wasn't able to get out for any of the 3 sessions to do his refresher. IndyCar gave him half hour at the end of the day to try and get the car settled in, hopefully get his refresher done. But before all that, Ed Carpenter in 20th, Graham Rahals towards the back. There are some names, a couple names back there. You mentioned Will Power in 23rd. A few names where if you had to scribble down who you thought might be in the top 10, top 12 on opening day, they didn't necessarily find all the speed they were hoping for. Not talking about panicking, but were you at all surprised at some of the folks who really weren't there showing speed, especially in a draft?
I think Graham, because they've done so well this year everywhere. And I just thought him and Squirrel, Alan McDonald, I think this is a track he's always done well on. I really thought this might be Graham's year to shine at Indy, and it still may be. Just maybe a slow start. Who knows? When you can't get out and talk to anybody, you're just guessing. You don't know what they were trying or what happened. But I would say that, they probably ended the day disappointing. I can't remember where Sato ended up, but the most important thing is that Ed Carpenter, I'm trying to remember where he usually is in practice before we get to Fast Friday every year, before he goes out and, he's only won the pole 3 times, right, in this decade. So I'd say maybe surprising he's only 20th, but who knows if, Connor Daly, I think, was in the top 10 most of the day as his teammate. So I think they'll figure it out. I think it'll be fine. He's another guy's almost 40 years old. He's been here a long time. He knows how to get around his joint better than anybody. So I suppose I think probably Graham would be the surprise today, and maybe Will Power in 23rd.
Ed's got that alien technology with the U.S. Space Force behind him. So I think rocket propulsion at minimum for pole on Saturday and Sunday. Robin, let's close with an experiential topic. You're speaking to me from the media center, 4th floor at Indianapolis. I'm at home in California. You and I are usually doing this standing on pit lane at the end of the day, maybe with our French fry, Sebastian Bourdais. He's actually on vacation right now, so he's not able to call in. But we might grab a driver and drag them in. This is what we've been doing forever and ever. Tell us what it was like coming into Indianapolis with heat checks and virus scans and no contact and masks and no access to the garage and pit lane. For those who don't know how different it was coming into a place that you've always had free roaming access to, share that experience with folks.
Well, I don't think it's been very much fun. And I just sent Roger Penske and Mark Miles an email and said, hey, there's 8 of us out here. We all had to get our temperature taken today. We've all got masks on. Man, cut us some slack. Give us 2 hours during the day in gasoline alley, and give us an hour and a half or 2 hours in the pits, because if you do it better as well as anybody, you only get information being in the pits and gasoline alley and talking to people during the day. When a guy gets out of a car or they make a change or something happens, that's how you find things out. So you drove in here today and they took your temperature, and you filled out a form, and you drove in and there was obviously no traffic. And then you get to the 4th floor and there's 2, 4, 6, there's maybe 10 people here today. And I just think that it takes away, I get safety. It's all about safety, but I just told Roger, and he just called back while we were doing our tape, so I got to get him our video, but I just said, I don't think we're endangering anybody. We passed the temperature thing. We've got our masks on. Give us an hour in the pits and give us an hour in gasoline alley. Just give the whole group that's here, let them do a little bit of reporting, because that's what's cool about Indy. I've been doing this for 51 years. You're gonna run into. That's how you find things out. That's how you get scoops. That's how you get information. That's how you find out, and that's what people want to read. They want to hear about. Well, what'd you find out? What do you know? What's we can all read the scoring chart. That anybody can read that. That doesn't tell you anything. So. I don't know. We're going to see. Mark Miles just called too. So they both got at least they both read my email. So I got a response. I'm not sure what the response is yet, but it's probably not going to be what we hope.
This might be our last episode of the month. They might be booting you out. All right. I am Marshall Pruitt. That's our cat, Rosie, over in the window. That's Robin Miller. This has been Racers Trackside Report from the Indianapolis 500. We'll look forward to speaking to you hopefully tomorrow.
Thanks, Marshall.